Hello, 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 friends, listeners, people who want more. It is your girl, Kay Johnson, and I am bringing to you another episode, another talk, some more insight for Authentic Thursday, where we have conversations about originality, creativity, faith, excellence, and all the things in between. Tonight we will be talking about how to build your self-confidence, and definitely be looking for some other things. If you're tuned in, go ahead and share, because we're going to really get into it tonight. Hey. I'm not going to say your name because of, disclosure types of things, confidentiality, because this information and these things will be spread on different social media platforms, and I want to protect you as a listener. So I'm just going to say, hey, I'm not going to say any names. But how to build your self-confidence. I think this is important, especially in the time that we're in 2020 in November, as election week has been this week. And I've had a lot of different thoughts. And honestly, you all, let me just give y'all a backstory. Today has not been an easy day health-wise. I woke up this morning and I was feeling horrible. Like, my whole entire head, I just couldn't, when I opened my eyes, I would just ache and ache and ache. But if you're on here, go ahead and say hello in the comments. Hello. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel and more. But I woke up this morning, I was not feeling well at all. I literally stayed in the bed today. I have not shown my face all day. But thank God for people's prayers in my life, and thank God for my belief in healing. So I'm here and I'm well, and I'm ready to talk to you about how to build your self-confidence. I won't be long, I promise. So the first thing, I wrote a couple of things down, right? And I believe that how you need to build your self-confidence, I learned these things from a lot of different people. Majority, Miles Monroe and Cindy Trim. But then again, I go into my safe space and I talk to God myself. And these are the things that he told me to write down. He said, turn it on. I think it was a time. I know it was a time. My grandmother, she broke this down to me. Rest her soul in heaven. She broke this confidence theory down to me. It was a time for me to participate in a scholarship pageant. And the year before that, I performed horribly. I did a horrible job. And so that kind of broke me. My confidence was kind of broken. I had also been in relationship after relationship that was not fruitful, that was not nutritional for my confidence. I dated men, and I'm not bad-mouthing them at all. This is all because of the decisions I made. I dated men that didn't help me build my self-confidence in a good and positive way. So I believe my grandmother, she sat down with me and she had a remote control, right? And it's weird because I don't remember every detail of that day, but she had a remote control, and I believe she said you have to turn it on. You have to know that you control your self-confidence. See, a lot of the times, we don't understand how much authority we have over our lives. We don't understand how much authority that we can walk in. We don't understand the authority that is in our grips. We are born with everything that we need inside of us. There is no reason for you to go look outwardly for your confidence. So the first point is turn it on. If you could turn a light switch on, if you could turn your phone on, if you could turn anything on, turn your confidence on. All right, so next, let's go into the levels of it. We know that there are levels to everything. Everybody always says new levels, new devils, and all that type of stuff. So you have to understand that there are levels to your self-confidence. See, the way that I know that there are levels to self-confidence, because I didn't start off as confident as I am in myself today, 3 years ago. It took some trial and error. It took some time. It took some developing, and I'm still developing, because there are some things that I will face that I'm not like, oh, it's kind of going to knock me off a little bit. It's going to kind of just kind of surprised me in a way, I guess you could say that. But there's levels to it. I can't speak to all different levels of it because that's not where I'm going with it. But there's levels to your self-confidence. And so the first thing we have to do is understand what level of confidence are we at. When it comes to your relationships, what level of confidence do you have to speak up for yourself? A lot of the times when I'm teaching my students, we're talking about self-advocacy, and we're talking about using our voices. We're talking about the power of words. We're talking about making decisions. We're talking about understanding our emotions. And so the thing that we have to understand is what level are we on when it comes to our self-confidence. I had to sit back and say and be truthful with myself. Here's the thing. You can fake it and you can, put on the front with everybody else, but only you know to the deepness and to the DNA and the level of your confidence. So you have to be able to be real with yourself to say, this is the level of confidence that I have within me. See, there's a level of confidence when you start to use more of your voice, when you start to use more of your own brain, you get used to that. You get in the rhythm of that. And so when you get in the rhythm of using your own brain and using your self-confidence that you have turned on, you're looking at the new level of confidence that we're going to go next with, the intimacy that you have within yourself. See, now I'm onto something and I'm feeling this thing because I know somebody that's watching and who somebody is going to watch the replay. You're going to watch this and say, this is what I needed to hear, especially today, especially tomorrow. Whenever you do log in and you hear this, I know it's for you because it's been for me. And I can only speak to this because I've been through this, I've seen this, and I'm going through it always. Some things that we're just going to have to continue to get better at. And God will continue to put those things in front of us. And that's just how it is. So the next thing we go, after we realize what level that we're on with our confidence, when we understand that, we understand the power of our voices, the power of our emotions, and how to speak up for ourselves in all types of situations. We have to understand that there's a level of intimacy that you must have with yourself. So I'm going to slow down right there, okay? There's a level of intimacy that you must have with yourself. And a lot of times, women, I can speak to women, I can't really speak to men, but women, especially my age and younger, can't really speak to the older women, but I know this is a thing, right? There's a level of intimacy sometimes that we are seeking in other people in conversations. I do this in conversations with other people, maybe even in men. We're seeking for a level of intimacy that we don't have within ourselves. And so we go out there looking for it when all the time we need to spend time with ourselves. There's a level of intimacy you must have with yourself. How did I learn this? It was about 2019. In the end of 2018, I went through a period of depression around this time of year. Actually, there was the period of depression that I went through. I didn't know it by name, and I didn't know that I was actually experiencing depression, but I realized I was later on. So I took some therapy, right? I went to therapy and counseling, however you want to say that, and I'm not ashamed of it because it was the best thing that I could probably ever do for myself and for my children's children. But here's the thing. I had things on my wall to remind me that, here's one catch, that no matter how much time I spend with myself, every penny, every drop of that time that I spend with myself is an investment, and I'm worth the investment over and over and over and over and over and over again. So you must understand that the time that you spend with yourself, that intimacy that you have with yourself, that time that you get to know yourself, that time that you get to know what you like, what you dislike, what you want to say, what you don't want to say, that is the level of intimacy you must have, you must tap into with yourself. And in turn, there's also a level of intimacy that we must have with God. And I'm still on my journey with that. I'm still on my journey with that. But we must have a level of intimacy with ourselves. This is how you build confidence. This is how you build your mind to say, I am confident in myself. I'm confident in my abilities. I'm confident in my skill set. I'm confident in what I have to say. I'm confident in what I see. I'm confident in my relationships. I'm confident in what I bring to the table. I'm confident in every aspect of me, the way that I walk, the way that I talk, the what I wear. I'm confident in this, right? Because now I have a level of intimacy that is, you can't even break it because I know me and now I walk in that. So the next thing we're going to go to is the information that you intake. So let's back up. I'm going to give a real quick recap. We have turn your confidence on. Just turn it on like it's a remote, like it's a light. Then there's levels to it. Then you have to have intimacy with yourself and then God. And so the fourth thing that we're going to go over is the information that you intake. See, a lot of the times we're taking in information from people sometimes who are not even confident in themselves and their skill sets and what they have to do in this world, their purposes. Let me tell you right here, right now, that you have a purpose. And see, I'm at that threshold where sometimes I feel like I can't make it. Sometimes I feel like I want to give up. Just like this morning when I had the headache and I was doing all of this and I couldn't, function. I barely ate today. I ate 2 meals, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, barely, and a baked potato and some applesauce, right? I felt like I couldn't make it, but I saw some things and I had to reach deep inside myself to get my second win. And you are a consumer of my second win. Let me tell you that, brothers and sisters who are watching, you are a consumer of my second win, because I knew that I must get on here and tell my story today, because somebody is going to be watching who needs to hear exactly what I have to say. And so your second win is coming, but you have to learn to have intimacy with yourself. You have to learn to have intimacy with God. And you have to, after that, you have to understand the information that you're intaking. See, here's the thing, that this is kind of off, but I have to say it. The information that we intake, especially on social media, please go watch The Social Dilemma. Please go watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. So here's the thing. There are things that you see constantly throughout your day. And there are things that you intake constantly throughout your day. And so these are going to be directly influenced. These things are directly influenced with your behaviors, and your behaviors are directly influenced from the things that you see. So when you intake this information, you have to be wary. You have to understand. You have to be watchful, not weary, watchful of what you're intaking, because this can play a role into your self-confidence. This can play a role into your intimacy that you have with yourself. Whether you do it, have the intimacy with yourself or not. So the information that you intake is definitely from people, from TV shows, from YouTube videos, from social media posts. There's a lot of memes and there's a lot of things out there, but the main thing you must be getting your information from is something that has been truthful forever, for years and years and years, because now we live in a time where people can manipulate information however, whenever, wherever, at any cost, from state to state, from country to country. So you have to be careful and watchful of the information you intake. Get divine information from that intimacy that you have with yourself and the intimacy that you have with God. See, I'm speeding because I'm passionate about this, and I'm not going to be long, like I said. So the information that you intake sometimes can be overload. Sometimes we need to pull back from all of this information from people that we, confide in, get advice from, suggestions from. Sometimes you have to notice that you have an information overload. And now it's time for you not to have the information overload, but reset. Take a break from all the information that you get from everybody else. And confide in yourself. Have that intimacy with yourself. Tap into it and understand that little voice, that still voice that's in your head, that is not only your inner self or your higher self talking to you, and putting you in a place where you need to be, especially if it's a sound voice. Now, if it's something crazy and it's off, then I don't need you to listen to that. I need you to listen to things that really, really line up with the next level of you. And some of you probably don't know what that next level of you might look like, but God has something in store for you to unlock the next level. But we have to understand the information intake, the information overload. We have to reset. So that's the fourth thing. Now, here's the fifth thing. This is probably easy. This is easy, but not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So the next step into building your self-confidence is perform. Go out there and take action. When you reset off of that information, now it's time to output what you have gotten from your levels of intimacy with yourself, God, and all of these things. It's time to put it out. So now it's time to take action. There is I can't remember the person who said it, but basically the way that you get rid of fear, the way that you build your self-confidence is to take action. You're like, okay, okay, that sounds good, but I don't know what to take action on, All these things that is coming into your mind to combat what I'm saying to you. Speak truth and know the truth. That you need to take action, perform. And here's why this is a critical point to building your self-confidence. It's a critical point to building your self-confidence because if you never take action, you can never see yourself doing what you really want to do. From all the information that you have and the intimacy and the time that you spend with yourself, that's great. But you must take action. Take the action. Do the thing. And it's okay if you're not fully mentally ready. Because taking the action, performing the action, doing the thing will help you build a confidence within yourself, because now you know where you are. You know, I can do this, and now you can see some of your limitations. You can see where you've been cutting yourself short. You can see where you need to go and push yourself a little bit further, because now you've been doing the action, and sometimes that action can be a little fear. So let's talk about failure, because that's where, now that we know that we need to take the action, now we need to understand the mindset of failure. We have to change it. Will Smith says, fail often, fail forward, and fail early. Go ahead and do it. If you want to go ride a plane, if you want to go travel the world, if you want to go make a new friend, if you want to write a book, if you want to start a business, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to do hair, if you want to do makeup, if you want to design t-shirts, go do it. And know that you will fail, but go ahead and fail early. When I say fail early, when I hear him say this, it means do it as much as you can, as early as you can in the beginning stages. Do it as much as you can. Fail often. Do it as much. Fail often. Know that you will fail. Know that you will fall. But that means you have to get back up every time. And you have to be willing to have the confidence to get back up, because now you're taking action. And the only way to know that you're confident in yourself, the only way to know that you can continue to do a thing, is by taking the action and failing often, failing forward, and failing early. What's up? What's up? What's up? And then once we have noticed that we have to fail, sometimes we have a fear of failure. And sometimes some of us have a fear of success. But here's the thing. I hate fear, because it can stop you from doing all that you really want to do in life. It can stop you from making friends. It can stop you from doing the business, writing the book, performing your music, anything, posting something, voicing your opinion. It can stop you from so much. And fear is so paralyzing, because it's like you think of all these things that could go wrong in your life. You think of all these situations, these hypothetical situations that could happen but are not happening. So fear keeps you in this place where you're locked. And now that you're locked in fear, you can't open up and break through your confidence. See, fear, I hate fear. So I pray against the spirit of fear. I am coming against the spirit of fear in the name of Jesus, in the name of the Lord. Because fear, once we break fear, once we understand that fear is what's holding us back, sometimes, a lot of the time, that we can be confident. So that is how you build your confidence. You recognize that you are fearful, but where is that fear coming from? Where is that fear rooted in? Who gave you that idea of fear? Who gave you that idea that you should be fearful of this thing that you've never done, and you should think about all these 12,000 things that probably won't happen? Who gave you? What's the root of your fear? And once you find the root of your fear, this is something that you have to do. Self-work, you guys. That's self-confidence, self-work. If you take nothing from this whole entire video, please share this. Tag somebody who needs to hear this. I'm almost done. I won't be here long. But self-confidence also is synonymous, and it correlates, and it's in comparison. It's on the same team as self-work. And self-work is sometimes the most difficult work, because then you do have to face your own truth. You have to face your own battles. You have to face yourself. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is where I am. And sometimes that's not easy. Most of the time it's not easy. But self-work is something that you have to do in order to build your self-confidence. You have to recognize the information you're taking in. You have to turn your confidence on. You have to go perform. You have to go take the action. You have to have intimacy with yourself. Get to know yourself better. You have to find your limitations. You have to define where you want to go. You have to look at your higher self and say, I am going to show up as if I already own this space, as if people are wanting me to do this thing, as if people are calling for me to be doing this thing. And once you continue to do that, your self-confidence will continue to grow. You will continue to plant seeds of self-confidence. People will see you. And when you start to walk in your self-confidence, people will see you, and then they will say, well, if she is doing it, or if he is doing it, then I can do it. And then everybody walks around here with self-confidence. Also, be confident in getting the right information. You don't have to have everybody around you thinking the same way that you do, because that can be limiting as well. There are some people, there is some wisdom, there is some different point of views out there that you need to be aware of, because it makes you a better you. It can make you better. It can make you more confident in your own thoughts and what God is saying to you. So, I am done. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Go ahead and share, love, repost, tag. Also, get you a Dominate Destiny shirt or sweater. We're also doing that. If you know someone who needs to hear my story, or needs to hear from me, please don't hesitate to send them my information or mention them to me. Hit me up in my DM. I am taking more speaking engagements before the year is over. I would love to talk about more things and share my story of healing, to share my story of brokenness and coming from brokenness to healing. So I know I'll be speaking at the Juvenile Center in Jackson, Tennessee next week, I believe, to some women about my story and how I'm healed and how I am where I am. So if you know anyone, please, brother and sister, even if it's just the Facebook, go ahead and tag somebody, go ahead and share. And again, you guys know we are healthy, wealthy, and wise. Love yourself, build your self-confidence, and remember, be inspired. I'm out.